Hello and welcome back to Quick Looks with the Casual Hour. I'm your host, Bobby Peace. Joining me, the gamer on the go and co-host of the show, Chase Kinnicky. Chase, it is time to go below zero.
Sounds cold.
It's going to be cold as ice. Hey, you've been recording a few things with Johnny. You did the solo thing. I am excited to be back in the saddle with you because I'm going to show you one of my favorite games this year, which is the sequel to Subnautica, Subnautica Below Zero. And there's some really cool things to see. As you're looking at this, you're going to see about 8 hours of gameplay. I don't know how to compare that in this game to other people. 8 hours for me might be a long thing. 8 hours might be nothing. I don't know how to gauge a game like this with hours.
You know, it's 8 hours and 44 minutes more than I've played, so I'm going to say that you're probably the expert here.
I have purposely started this off the same way that you would start off in this game. This little hut is the base that you are in upon falling to an alien planet, the same one from the first game. And in this little area, you've got two things, a storage locker and a fabricator, and that's how they kick you off in Subnautica.
Okay.
The fabricator is what you use to make things, and as you guessed, this is where you store things.
Are you the same character from the first game?
You're not. This takes place a year later on a different part of the same world. If Below Zero did not convince you, this game is taking place in a more frigid area, and they've done a cool thing here. This game is fully voice acted, and so your character is looking for her sister, who has died, and the company that you both work for says it was your sister's fault. She was negligent. You say bullshit, and you came here to figure out what's going on.
All right.
Right out of the gate, we have a bladderfish. We're going to pick that up because that is my favorite fish to have. And this is the most important. It is the most important fish for early beginning of the game because this fish can be turned into a water bottle as well as sustenance.
You're just going to murder that fish?
Yeah. I can show you how that works. So I've got some gear already that you will not have when you first start this out. At the bottom of the screen, there's 5 hot items or hot bar items that you can have. You have an inventory system that you can move any of these items down into that. Over here on the right is your equipped gear. And at the top, this is where your blueprints live. You discover these by scanning items in the real world or in the alien world. You have a beacon manager, which is really cool. It's one of my favorite things in a game like this. You can craft a beacon, which is what this one looks like. But any item that you find through some sort of databank or log that you could come across is going to, at times, create a location where you should go and check it out. Some sort of distress call. In the first game... Oh, that was not supposed to happen. What is going on here? There we go.
Press F8, report bugs, leave feedback.
My fingers got a little wild there. In the first game, there's a radio that you have that will show up and give you, hey, listen to the radio. This person's calling for help because you're stranded. And then if you look over there, there's an alien distress call that I have. Pilot last known location. Over there is my base. And then you have this other robotics landing pad. And those are things that I've discovered that you could go to, and that's how you progress the story in the game. But back to this bladderfish. If you needed to make... When you open up your fabricator, there's a resources tab, sustenance, personal, and deployable. And that's really what you're going to be focusing on and following those chains to create items. So if I go to sustenance... There's a way that you can cure food. Any fish that you find in the game, you can cure if you find salt. If you just cook a fish, it will rot, and if you don't eat it soon enough, so that's a problem. But using cured food has a high salt concentrate, which will lower your water meter. And this is something that we should talk about too. This game that I'm playing it, I guess we'll call this stock Subnautica Below Zero. This is the method that the developers kind of present to you to play it, which is it's a survival game. So you're looking at your oxygen level when you're underwater. And Below Zero, you are focusing more on your temperature, which was a thing in the first game, but not nearly what it is in this one. water intake, food intake, and then your overall health. So if I needed to increase my water... Oh, sorry, we're going to ask something.
Yeah, Bobby, I hate survival games. Is there a way to turn off any or all of these things?
Yep, you can turn off, I believe, these bottom two for sure. I think that you can even turn off the temperature one. I'm not 100% there.
Okay.
But you can play this game where it's just your health and your oxygen, which I think is very manageable because you can just swim up to the surface, and
sure.
they give some things that make it pretty easy to do that. But this bladderfish. So water is super important, especially when you're starting this off. You're like, well, I'm underwater. How can I take care of this? A bladderfish is the only fish in the early beginning game that can be turned into a water bottle. So we're going to use the fabricator, put our fish down, and look at that. It is now a water bottle.
What? Fish is dead.
That fish is toast. So if you come back over to your inventory, you can grab that filtered water that you just made, and that makes that meter go up. If you want to be more precise on what they are, just pull up your PDA, and you can see here's where your current levels are.
I love PDA.
Me too. This is the cool thing. I don't know if you can hear right now what's happening,
like
but the audio...
Sizzly action?
Yeah. So let's go up to the surface really quick.
Okay, yeah, the surface seems just super happy right now. Not like the sky's on fire or anything.
So there is a storm currently happening, but what I love about this game is the audio design, and one of the things that's really cool is these hailstorms that are happening where we're at. You're able to see those pellets coming down, but also hearing them when you're underwater.
Yeah, I would imagine that a game that takes place underwater would have some really, or have the opportunity for some really cool sound design.
It can be very haunting and very, very scary, but also very peaceful. So Chase, when you first start this game up, it's giving you, hey, go find things out in the world. So when you first come out of your base or when you're in this area, you're starting to swim around, you might notice something like this.
I would have not noticed that.
It does a pretty good job of telling you a few things that you should be looking for.
Okay.
In that. But the fabricator is going to have recipes. And what I mean by that is if I go into this menu and I go to my blueprint, it's going to show you like, hey, this is, you get titanium from finding metal salvage. If you want to make a titanium ingot, you can just do this 5 collection here. Look for creep vine if you want to do that. So you're looking for these. It's really good about onboarding you on, hey, you'll need these to make that. And so I have the scanner right now. I've already scanned this particular fish, and I've already scanned this outcrop, but that's the whole game. You take the scanner with you, and you're looking for items, and when you scan them, you'll start to find new blueprints and recipes.
Did you just pistol whip that rock?
Yeah, man. Sure did. Pistol whipped the shit out of it. So I have put about 8 hours into this game, and I think I could show you how it goes a bit. So if I was going to play this game as I was right at the beginning, I would be coming up for air like this, let that refill, get my bearings about me, come back down. I might grab a fish, try to grab a fish. Come here, here, peeper.
Maybe.
Got it.
Okay.
So then there's a few story beats that when you first fired this up, it's like, hey, you're going to want to go and investigate this. You're going to hear some audio logs from your sister, and that really starts to pull the yarn out of the sweater, so to speak.
Is that a phrase that people say?
If you want to do that sweater, Weezer certainly talked about it.
Okay. Yes, Rivers Cuomo, the poet laureate of our time.
So Chase,
why don't we swim somewhere? Like, why don't we go to a place? Why don't you follow one of those signals or do something? Actually, here's another question. This game is called Subnautica. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff to do underwater. Is there also stuff to do above water, or is that kind of just you come up for air and then you go back down and see the rest of the stuff? So
that was a big thing in the first one. Really quick, before I tell you about that, you mentioned swimming somewhere.
Yeah.
We can do that, and that's fine, but why don't we just take my sea truck instead?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yes. Play some music.
So
play some music
in my sea truck.
So it's a good sea
it's
truck.
grown a little bit. So yes, in the first game, you actually end up spending quite a bit of time above water, and we'll do just that. I got the place to take us. Can I give you a quick tour of my sea truck?
Sure,
I'm very proud of it.
Above water seems like false advertising for a game called Subnautica.
It's all misdirection. So the actual sea truck chase is this area here. I have built these module components that go onto my sea truck, such as my sleeping quarters, which has a jukebox. And you can come over to it, and I can control the audio a little bit, play some of that. I've got a fabricator with extra storage, so I could dump some of these things in there, and we can have more room to look for other shit. And I can make the same stuff that we had in there now, here. And if I come back here, I've got an actual aquarium where I can start to keep my fish.
Okay. That was definitely going to be a question, is can you do anything but murder those fish? I'm glad that you can keep them.
So this is actually catching fish in this area too, which is great. So if I open this up and I wanted to make another bladderfish sandwich, I could. And I come over here.
Can you just take fish out of the aquarium and then fabricate? Is that what you just did?
That's what I just did.
Okay.
So that's how I'll eat, and now we've got that.
So it's less an aquarium than it is a refrigerator.
Yes.
You're just keeping some food on the side in case you need it.
So the cool thing about my sea truck is that I can stay in here and have full oxygen. If I needed to, I could break away my actual truck and have like this little mobile workstation. So if there's an area that we're going to that we wanted to grind a bit more, if I was going to be hanging out there for a little bit, I could have a spot that I could come up and fabricate items, dump items off. I could sleep, I could listen to some music, which, you know, we're laughing about that. But this game does get pretty tense at times. There's a sea monkey, and it can be really difficult, and having that music is a nice way to kind of offset. But I'm going to actually turn that off so you can hear a little bit more around us.
This seems like a good podcast game.
It's a wonderful podcast game, which I wish there was a way for me to actually load my jukebox up with podcasts.
Yeah, like to be able to hear your favorite podcaster, but they sound like they're underwater.
Yep. So our sea truck can only go so deep right now. We can go down 150.
Yeah, happens to everybody.
But you can buy upgrades or make upgrades. And we're coming across some different biomes right now. The yellow bars beneath the icons on my sea truck there show you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that UI. I like that's good stuff.
It's like very good.
Caterpillar.
Yep. So, and obviously it changes. There's a few other things that you can add into the sea truck that I haven't fabricated yet. And you find broken pieces of sea truck or these other components. That didn't sound very friendly. That are beneath the ocean down here, and you have to scan those, and it's like, okay, you found one of 3 of these, so keep looking around, and that's really exciting when you finally get that blueprint unlocked, and then you have to, okay, you got the blueprint, now you need the materials, and it'll set you off to do that. For anybody who's watching up to this point, this area, there's not going to be any story things that we get into here, but it is absolutely kind of a spoiler, so this is a part where you might want to maybe pause or stop and come back to this if you are looking to play the game a bit more before.
How is the story? Have you been enjoying it?
It's really good.
So okay.
It's real. Oh, this jellyfish is really cool. I haven't figured out how to get inside of... this isn't the right one. There's a jellyfish that has like this little biome inside of it. It's massive, and it looks like you can get inside of it somehow. There's like some sort of material. But back to your question, the story I find to be highly enjoyable. These games do some really incredible work with science fiction, and I love what's happening with it. So the sea truck, normally you'd exit out from the top. We can go out the far back if we wanted to, but we'll just hop out the top here. And we're going to go on land. So you're going to notice that temperature gauge is going to start to immediately go down. And movement in the game, even out of water, feels pretty damn good for a game that is focusing mostly on being underground or underwater. The above water stuff is pretty good.
Okay, so what's that thing to your right? That man-made thing?
That I don't know. There's obviously been some people here before us.
Sure.
And We assigned the jukebox disc. Well, that's really cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
So we got some new music called Don't Hold Your Breath. A nutrient brick is one of my favorite things to get. So what I want to do is...
I'll remember that for your birthday.
Thank you. And this gives you such a big boost. Let's keep moving really quick. Usually above ground areas. I'll come back to that. There's a way that we can override it. We just don't have the stuff to do that right now, and that kind of gets into some story stuff.
Yeah, you already seem a little cold. Like
I'm very cold.
The vignetting's coming in around the screen. That's fun.
I think we'll be okay if we can get in here. Yeah, there we go. So if you come into a cave, it will start to warm you back up. But we're going to head over to that landing pad. So there's not anything that I haven't really not scanned in here yet. This is... You can take these fevered peppers. So if I wanted to heat myself up, I could eat one of those. And so if we do get in a spot now where we're running away and we don't have any coverage, then we're able to warm up. The design of this game is something I want to talk about too, Chase. So I really like what they're doing with the robotic stuff for the company that you're working with. I think it's got a really neat future look to it. This is that beacon that we were chasing. This is what they look like. I can take it, I can name it, and it would show up differently there. I have not figured out how to open up this landing pad, but I did want to take us into... Where's the door at? I thought I saw the door over here. This location, because the style of this place is super cool. There we go. So this is the robotics center. Ooh, that obviously wants us dead.
Yeah.
And bad shit's happened here, Chase. And the whole thing of this game is you're just uncovering one bad instance after another. So this is a snow fox platform. I've already scanned it, but I can now craft this, and this is how I make a snow speeder that we can use above water to transfer around this whole area quite a bit. So as we're navigating through it, when you play through this area, you find a little bit more out.
Fluid intake.
Here we go. What happened with your sister? I scanned a lot. Oh, here, this is perfect. So if I wanted to scan this fragment, and let's say I had not discovered that, it would be a part of the blueprint, but it turns it into a resource if you scan items that you already have unlocked, which is super helpful.
Okay.
And this game is really just about taking your time through these locations, like scanning this map, finding new areas to go and investigate further. And everything that we've done so far is what I would consider early game accessible. There's not anything that
Calorie intake recommended.
I know. There we go. There's not anything that we have really pushed the boundaries for, because we haven't gone below that 150. We could work on crafting that if needed, and that would give us the opportunity to go below deep and explore more of these secrets. So the ones that are currently, that's down below 150, so I can't get to it successfully yet. And I have to craft a few more items.
Okay.
This is I haven't actually been into this one. I must have missed this room when I first came here.
Could you grab all the fish out of this aquarium?
I could. So
Not
if
that
I
you want
ate
to,
this,
but
right, I could come in this aquarium. Oh, I guess I can't come into this one. This was just here to scan. Interesting. So I can't do that one, and that's not one that we can pick up. I can take that poster to put back in my base, and we'll take that first aid kit, and I will use that now.
okay. We haven't seen your base. Why don't we go check that out?
Yeah, that would be fun. Let's get out of here and head back to that location. So the different colors, anything that's my transportation, I always make yellow, and anything that is my habitat, I make green. Okay. So if I'm in a pinch where I'm getting chased by something, or if I'm really needing a beeline because I don't have anything that's already pre-cooked, or I don't have any water, I will just want to have a quick, like, non-panic Bobby moment where I can figure out where I need to go.
Sure. So I'm kind of getting like maybe like a little Fallout-y vibes. of just
Sure.
like walking around, discovering stuff, picking up a bunch of things.
Yeah.
But one thing that I haven't seen here that you see in Fallout would be combat. Is there any sort of combat in here? Are you fighting anything, or is it really mostly just about scanning and crafting and surviving?
There is something currently where we're at that I need to kill in order to make a cold suit, which will allow me to be up above the water with very little issues. And currently I just have this knife. There are items you can make, like you can make this gravity trap that's really fucking cool. You throw out and it just sucks the enemies in towards it. So if I'm getting chased by a big ass creature, that'll help at least get me away from it. But as far as combat goes, there are some things that you can use and craft later in the game that will take care of it, but it's not a major focus of this game.
Yeah, like you're not meant to make big laser beams or stuff like that.
No.
Okay.
Now, this one is a bit more... We talked about this on the show this week. This game is a lot more hostile than the other one, and you'll see what I mean when we get near my base, but this thing here can hurt you. This thing will not hurt you, but this will take your items from you, and then you have to chase this down and try and get your item back. It's very playful.
Sounds like a real dick.
This is a creep vine biome that we're in. There's at least 2 resources here that are very essential in crafting it. So you'll come through here and with your knife... Well, that did not sound good.
No, it did not.
Oh boy. So with your knife, you'll start to chip away at this. Oh god, that does not sound good at all. Let's just keep moving. Jeez. Maybe we just keep going in the dark here. I could sleep. And try and not be so dark, but we're gonna, for the sake of this.
If you sleep, does it just freeze everything, or would time continue to pass? Could you wake up and whatever that thing was, could it have come and smashed up your space or your sea truck?
The only thing I've had happen so far is because if you get your sea truck below that 150, it starts to take damage.
Mm-hmm.
And as I got out of my truck, I was really pushing the boundaries trying to get to this area lower than that. Sorry, that's just like tripping me
No,
up.
I understand. That was disconcerting for sure.
I propelled or thrusted by my ship, and it knocked it down past that 150, and it actually destroyed my ship. So that sucked. Yeah, it sucked. But as far as sleeping goes, I've not been attacked in my truck. In the first game, I was never really sleeping. Well, I did a little bit in the submarine, but I have not seen that happen, to answer your question.
Okay.
Now we're going into a pretty hostile area, environmentally speaking. I built my base in this, it's called the purple vent biome. It's a vented thermal location, and I did this because I felt pretty confident in my ability to navigate those scary things that you're hearing in the game.
Well, yeah, you're a pro gamer, Bobby Pete.
All right, we're starting to see some things that will definitely hurt us. But these vents, I can eventually put some sort of thermal reactor over them and feed that into my base, which I think my base looks really cool. I found an awesome spot to build this. So I can feed power into my base. So right now I only have 2 solar panels that power this whole damn thing up. So we're gonna hop out, and I'll give you a quick tour of this.
Solar panels. It's pretty dark.
Yeah. So you'll notice when we get into the base that I won't be at my full capacity. So I'm at 123 of 150.
Okay.
Now, if you stay within 200 meters deep, solar panels work great. And it's a very important thing to have early game, because in your base, you're going to have your fabricator here. You're going to have oxygen, obviously. But this is like your little pod that you start off in. It has those things. Like I had to find the recipes and create all this shit, and it's inside of. Let me pull the tool out.
Did you make this like tile by tile, or do you just plop down? Here's a room that is like nine spaces more or less.
Yeah, that's a great question. So this tool, the Habitat Builder, you just on PC you right click, and this is your construction menu. And so if I was out in front of this, when I first came up here, the first thing I built was this large piece here.
Hi.
Yeah, there's a really big badass thing that's not great. I can survive these. I mean, they'll hurt me. I can survive them. There's a lot of those around here.
Oh, he's not that big? Is that what you're saying?
There's something very big that lives by my base down here.
Okay.
And so
Maybe we'll meet him later.
There.
Did we just meet him?
Yeah, that thing over there.
Okay.
In comparison to that little thing.
Yeah. Okay. I'm starting to get a sense of that.
So when you go to build, if I was going to do another multi-purpose room, it gives you something like this.
Okay.
So, you know, hey, you can't build that here, but you can build that up here.
So they're all prefabricated. Okay. Can you can you build vertically like that? Can you like make a ladder or something that goes up? Okay. That's cool.
If you check this out back here, you can see that I've done that.
Ah, sure. Okay.
So let's head in really quick. I'll give you a general layout.
Yeah,
it's
like
pretty.
what
it's pretty
else,
bare.
What are you supposed to do with the base? Like if your fabricator and other stuff is like can fit into a room, what's the point of the rest of this?
I think it's a lot
other
about
other than walls that you can put your posters up.
This is my reminder every time I go out to do.
God damn it! What's the other one?
This is Hoverball, which was a sport you can play.
Okay.
in the game. The Killer Bunnies and the Devils, man.
I'd play. Hoverball seems cool. Okay.
Keep calm and truck on. No,
I'm out again.
So to your point, Chase, this is really, in my mind, this is what I love. I do everything in this game to make this place better, and this base is my creative playground. There's certain things that you absolutely need to have in the game that makes things better.
Mm-hmm.
This whole area
I can see how creative you've been to make this large, empty room.
Well, hey, I'm just building the structure. But no, we got the new sea truck.
Ah, okay, now I'm back in.
But he's back in. And this is going to be an indoor garden where I'll grow some things that I can cook while I'm inside my base. That'll tie out over here. This is going to be a kitchen area, and I'll show you a little bit of what my plan is there.
Okay, so this isn't just imaginary shit. Like, you are actually building these things for a purpose.
Yeah. So this will be indoor garden. This here is going to be, it's not the aquarium, it's like a biosphere where you can find these creature eggs, which look like this, and you don't know what they are, which is really interesting. So this is a creature egg, this is a creature egg, those are, and it incubates them and it hatches some of the fauna and stuff in the area. And then you can study it and learn a little bit more about like what it would do to you if you encounter it, which is really cool. I like this poster a whole lot.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So this is the ladder that takes you upstairs, and this is really a pretty important location. So this, I love this area a whole lot. If I come over here, these are all the materials that I would need. So if I was working on a recipe, I'm like, you know what? I really need, I need more.
You always need more crystalline sulfur.
Absolutely. So then this starts to scan, and this is our base here. This is where we're at. And it will show me where I can maybe start to head to find resources that I would need.
Okay.
Oh, and over here, I have a whole other upgrade section where I can create these upgrades. I can even make a camera drone where I could stay in here and send this drone out to scout ahead and know like, oh, there is something there that I need. Okay, I'm gonna need this, this, and this to get there. This is really cool. So I can install this chip that would then feed what I have on my map here into my sea truck. So I could have a better idea of where I'm heading versus like a guesstimation.
Sure.
So some really cool stuff that we can do here. This was in the first game. This other room was not in the first game, and this is a base room. And this gives me an actual 3D replicate. Like anytime I build my base, it creates this little map of my actual base, which I think is so fucking cool. Shows me what room I'm currently in. It shows me the status of it. This gives me a readout of what time of day it is, the structural integrity of my base, which the more you build, that goes down, so you have to reinforce some things. That way, like if I put a glass window in, it's going to take that down to 13.
Okay.
So this gives me, this is like an overview of what's going on in our current base, but we can customize it. I can come over here and do like hex colors and repaint my base and make it something that I want it to be, which I haven't done yet. I can give it a different name. All that's handled through here. And then this is going to be my bedroom. So I'm still working on that, so I could take a snooze really quick. And this is what it looks like when you do that in the game. And you come back up, and the time, I think it goes up by like 12 hours. Is how they do the anytime you sleep.
12? Damn. This guy's well rested.
I added these glass windows in so I could get an idea of like what's happening around me.
Yeah, see your friends.
See my friends. This is some storage up here, and then I have a little office. This is an observatory where I can hang out and look and check things out.
Sure. Can you actually sit down at that chair?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Not enough. I have to move it back. Damn. So if I move it back a little bit, I'll be able to sit.
Tisk. Okay.
So this is my base, man, and the whole thing is when you're doing your blueprints, you're learning a bit more. This is a really good example. Hydraulic fuel or fluid. I came across this area above water where there's a drawbridge, and there's something really crazy looking on the other side of it. I found this canister that had remnants of hydraulic fluid. I can find creepvine seed clusters right now, no problem, but I don't have any gel sacks. So if I really was wanting to go back and lower that bridge, I would come over here. I could stop scanning, and I would say, can you find any gel sacks in the area? And again, down here, this orange dot has shown up multiple times. There's got to be some crazy shit down there, but I can't quite make it yet. So I'd want to work on fabricating on my truck this module that lets me go down deeper,
right?
Which would be,
and that has its own sets of materials that you need, and to get those, you might need a different set of materials. Yeah, that's the game. For a lot
that
of
is the game. And so you find this like distraction and this rabbit hole of, oh, okay, well, I'm crafting this. Well, I just crafted that, but now I can do this. Well, let me go chase that sparkly object, and then you go back and forth. Oh, well, if I did this in my base, wouldn't that be really cool? Like, I could come over here, and I think that this would be awesome if I actually had some sort of counter. Yeah, counter would be really great over here. So I can start to map this out, and I'll put this here. I can do another one off to the side of it, and then I can just craft these items.
Wow,
like
man.
So.
Look at you. That's interior design right there.
And then if I wanted to, we could build a refrigerator, so on and so forth. I could do, if I wanted to make some coffee, that we want to have coffee over here.
Seek fluid intake.
So you are Emmanuel, correct? That's at Emmanuel's. Your character's name is Emmanuel?
Yes.
Okay. So it's at Emmanuel's bed. Did I see a name Jeremiah somewhere when you were looking at furniture?
So I am not Emmanuel, by the way. That was Emmanuel's bed.
You're sleeping in somebody else's bed?
It's a style in this game. So, these are beds that I found so far in the game, which
you stole someone's bed.
The blueprint for their bed.
That's good. Hey, you wouldn't steal a car. Don't steal the blueprints to a bed. I believe that's the phrase.
Personal log, distress call.
Picked up what sounds like a distress call. Who or what is out here calling for help? It didn't sound human. Maybe it's from a remnant of architect technology. In her message, Sam's colleague did say there was something important here. Even if it's just a mimic from one of the more intelligent aquatic specimens, that could be a major find. Or if it's from Altera, it could have bearing on what happened to Sam. I should definitely check it out.
Okay, the voice acting sounds pretty decent.
Yeah. So this is Subnautica, and I told you when we were playing this, I'm like, this might be kind of a hard game to do a quick look for.
No, I think you've done just fine. Like we've swam, we've trucked, we've walked above land, we've met some friends. I would, Bobby, can we yeah, can we say hello to?
I got my knife
friend here.
I'm ready to go.
Hi, buddy. What's
See if
your
I
name?
can scan.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna try and
sure.
scan.
A Chellicerate?
Did it finish scanning? I was getting attacked. I couldn't tell.
You got 3/4 of your health gone there, bud.
Warning. 30 seconds of oxygen remaining.
That also sounds not good.
It's not the best. Let me get up here and get some oxygen. We'll come back down and see what we can do.
What's that?
Oh, that's a little sea glide. So this has a one of the first things that you do.
Oh, just okay. Helps you move a little faster.
Yeah. Oh boy!
Cool.
Oh boy!
Oh yeah! There it is. Any penalties for death? I guess while we're on the subject.
You died, and we didn't lose anything for that, which is strange because normally when you die, it's like, hey, you lost some items, but maybe that just eats your items. Because I thought I had a beacon here. Yeah, maybe it took my... Oh no, there's my beacon. That's where we died. This is a pretty cool mechanic. I haven't talked about it. There's an upgrade that I've done. So you see my oxygen meter? If I press and hold down, I've got a booster tank, which allows me to use my oxygen to get out of a tight spot.
Oh, hey, your friend's back.
He's always here.
Yeah, guess what? He's still gonna be right where he murdered you.
My base is cool.
So is it more like a... It's not really a Dark Souls system, but is it like all... Obviously, you kept a lot of your items, but do some items drop when you get killed? Okay.
Yes. They absolutely do. And if you have a beacon on your person, that's why I went and got that beacon. The beacon drops where your items are.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I can go back and find that beacon pretty easily. I haven't done this yet. I think I have it here. Let me just see if this works. I know that you'll like this. Okay. And I will wrap up after this here. I don't have it with me. Is it up here in this? Yeah. Framed picture. Oh, I can't do it there. I'll do it out here. I don't know if you saw it. It said saved to PDA there. Mm-hmm. Ooh, slow down. You can craft these, and there's one in your ship here. But this set picture, so this automatically lets me come over here, and I can just set this here and upload that.
Oh, that's nice.
And now, so any pictures you take in the game, you can actually use in the game to decorate with, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, that's a fun feature.
Yeah. So, Chase, this is I think a good spot for us to wrap up here. This is a really cool game, and I know that I'm not selling it enough. It's a very intimate game.
I think you did a good job. I find, like I said, I'm not a big fan of this genre of game, of survival games in general. I like the fact that you can turn off some of these things, food and water and stuff. I mean, I don't know if this is my thing, but I like a lot of what it's doing.
Yeah, it's a very pretty game. I've said it a few times. This is, in my opinion, one of the best versions, if not the best version, of a survival game. The way that it takes you into places and lets you get creative with things. It teaches you very well. I like how terrifying, but also how peaceful things can be very quickly. It's just it scratches a part of my brain in a way that I never thought would happen. When I knew what Subnautica was, I was aware of it, but it's just really got its hooks in me, something fierce. I love this game, and that's my take on it. I'll update on the show as we progress through it. I'll probably stream this one night, but this has been a quick look here for us of some Subnautica. I'll try and just keep moving here as I'm telling you a little bit more about our show.
Sure.
So we are a podcast first and foremost. We stream 3 nights a week. One of which is on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, where we do our live podcast. Chase and I are joined by a friend and co-host, Johnny Amazich. We also play games together every Monday night called Casual Mondays, where we traditionally played more tactics, turn-based games, but who knows? We could end up playing a game like this called No Man's Sky and building a world ourselves.
We can play anything.
We can play anything. And Friday nights, Johnny and myself, sometimes Chase, get together and play a few more games there. We post our podcast everywhere that podcasts can be heard, Fridays at 9 a.m. And if you like this quick look, there's a ton of other ones on our YouTube channel. Make sure to set a reminder by liking and subscribing to us if you want to stay in tune with it. We put a few out each week. That could go up or down depending on what we got going on outside of content. But for the most part, we've been putting stuff out that you can follow along, where we give you our hot takes and opinions and show you some of the early mechanics of games. And sometimes they're old games, new games, all kinds of games. And Chase, you do some stuff with Gamers on the Go. You want to talk about that?
No. Let's keep this a casual hour. We can talk about Gamers on the Go and other stuff on the podcast.
Sounds great. Chase, I appreciate you hanging out and putting up with me as I take you through a game that you don't particularly like the genre of. It's been a lot of fun showing it to you, and we'll be back later on with more quick looks here at the Casual Hour. Take care.